Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Dave Grohl, have a day. Why don't you? Definitely trending yesterday with the headline, Dave Grohl admits fathering child outside of his marriage. Good morning. 92.1 City, Winnipeg's rock station. And leave it to Dave Grohl. You know, the guy handles everything, well. And as well as you can possibly handle adultery, which, I mean, there's no handling that well, obviously. I mean, I've never dealt with it. But dealing with your wife and your family on that, like, it's got to be the worst possible situation. And the guy...
He got ahead of it.
I don't know if his wife's going to stay with him, but you're right, getting ahead of it. That's the proper way to put it. But
because we didn't find out like some other celebrity cases where, it's like leaked or somebody is, they're seen out together and the paparazzi snaps a photo or whatever the case is. This was like something that was like... He must have decided, okay, before anybody gets a hold of this news, I'm going to say something.
So do you think that changes the dynamic of how long the story lives anyway? Like, to me, if the general public came out with the story or he gets in front of it, I don't think it kills the story either way. Do you know what I mean? I think that's just his personality that did that. But it was interesting because one line in the statement says... he'll be working on gaining the trust of his wife and his family back. Like, I don't care who you are. That's a long road right there. And he's been on a long road on tour. Yeah. But how does that work the next time you tell your wife you're planning another tour?
Yeah, for sure. But to answer, one of the things you said in there, Joe, just to answer that, it would be so much, and I think you were getting at this, so much worse. And if he waited and didn't admit it, and then this daughter or whatever, this child comes out later in life and goes, "I'm Dave Grohl's child," and he wouldn't take care of me. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So this is the way to handle
accountability.
This is the way to handle the situation for sure.
Yeah.
And yes, Joe, she's never going to trust him on the road.
Yeah,
again.
that's a tough one. Like if you were a salesperson for a job and you're, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Northwestern Ontario, and you had an affair and had a child with somebody else, it might be tough to keep that job.
Yeah.
This guy's a rock and roll superstar.
And he lives on the road.
Yeah. But is anybody really that surprised? Like, I was looking at some comments. Like, I mean, some people hold David Grohl at a certain standard, but he's a human being.
Yeah.
And he's a superstar. The temptation is going to be there every night. The roadies that set up the guitars and the drum set for the Foo Fighters will be tempted every night. Never mind David Grohl.
Yeah. I think already a marriage that is like with somebody like Dave Grohl, you will always... Like you kind of know what you're getting yourself into with having your partner on the road for sure, but that's where trust comes into play. And he obviously broke that in his marriage.
He's also pretty open compared to a lot of rock stars too, right? So I think that's why getting in front of it made sense for him too, because it does consistently fit with his. Yeah, he's pretty transparent.
You're right. Rock star commits adultery is not a surprising headline. It's just that Dave Grohl has this image, as one of the squeaky clean rock stars. So even though,
he plays with his daughter, brings her up on stage,
and that's
else.
The sad part is that affects affects her. Like, she's deleted all of her social media apparently because I mean, I'm
one
sure
of his
that's
daughters, the one that comes on stage and everything. Oh, that's that sucks. Yeah. Okay, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on this story, but
I didn't have this on my bingo card. Like for this year. Like when I saw that statement come out yesterday, I was like, wow, Dave Grohl.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Call the Bone phone. 780-BONE. Brought to you by Auto Gallery of Winnipeg.
Just the Texas Ranger calling here. I haven't called for a bit. Just got a couple of bones to pick. Philly, I know that you almost hit somebody. Well, that happened to me today, and the guy shot me the finger. You people out there that are walking with your heads up your asses and your faces in your phones need to make eye contact with people. Make eye contact, because then I see you and you see me. Get your heads out of your frickin' asses and make eye contact. Blah, 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 blah.
I think eye contact is very important.
That's an interesting yeah there by Walker, Texas Ranger. But no, we talk about that on the show all the time. If you're a pedestrian, make sure motorists in an ideal world would always see you. But we don't live in an ideal world. So make sure they see you about to cross the road.
When I was in, I think it was like kindergarten or something, they taught us like to put our hand out, like our arm out, like when we cross the road. As a way to like make sure that the driver sees you.
So the arm,
like
so
you
an extended arm will
So
help?
you just like walk across the road with your arm out.
I didn't see that kid, thank God, but I saw the arm.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about bicycle safety. Put your arm out to signal.
No, like when crossing the road, you're
Yes.
supposed to put your arm out.
Yeah.
Did you learn that too?
I don't remember what year I learned
know.
it, but I heard it. But I think the bottom line here is if you just need to help yourself sometimes, don't put your life in the chance of somebody else's mistake, especially when you're distracted. We get charged for a ticket for being distracted driving. Don't be distracted while you're walking.
Yeah,
you got to pay attention.
And try the
Arm in, arm out. It doesn't matter.
Someone said hand up, arm up. I think that's if you want to ask a question in class.
Or in traffic.
Yeah.
Just put your arm. Did you see me?
I have a question. Do you see me? Okay. Professor and taxi drivers.
So taxi drivers in general must take up probably about 5 of the top 10 worst driver spots in Winnipeg. So yesterday, we're leaving Winnipeg, heading back, shooting for the perimeter, trying to get the hell out of the rat race. And we're in a construction zone, and what do I see? I see 4 taxi cabs cut diagonally across an intersection straight into a construction zone that's coned off, and they fly down this road, rip ahead, and a whole bunch of, I'm assuming, stupid people up ahead actually let them in. So they've effectively cut the line running their cabs through a construction zone. Stupid, dangerous behavior. Absolutely appalling.
Okay. Well said as well.
I'd love to say this about the professor. He's maybe the one guy that could throw out a stat, whether it's based on numbers like he just said, 5 out of 10 or whatever the number is. I'd believe him. It wouldn't matter. You know what I mean?
You're not going to challenge a guy like that.
Someone say, hey, listen, about 90% of us would do this. I mean, that number just comes out of your ass. But the professor, I'm believing him.
I'm going to say this. If you ever are looking for a side gig, like narrating legal dramas or something, like he could pull it off, like some kind of show like that. He's got that voice, the convincing voice. Okay, Kirby, you have become an advocate for cyclists in Winnipeg, which is weird because you went like 25 or 20 years without riding a bike, but you vouch and stand up for cyclists in Winnipeg. You're gonna have to put that hat on here because this caller is angry.
I am so sick and tired of these stupid cyclists. Now you're going to protest in the middle of the busiest street of Maine and Assiniboine. So you got a new sign. Wow, good for you. When are you going to wake up and realize you're the problem? You don't follow your own stupid rules, and then you expect us not to turn left on a new sign on Assiniboine. You have Broadway on construction. You have River on construction. You have the whole city on construction. But let's make room for the cyclists. Like, you're in your helmet in the middle of the road pointing to a sign. It's not going to stop me from yelling at you. And you have a camera because you know people are going to be angry at you. Get a fucking clue, Karen.
Oh, you could tell that was fresh. That had just happened. That's what I think.
Yeah,
wow.
she's hot.
Yeah.
Here
we go.
Let's just all
Rebuttal.
share the road.
There it is.
It takes 2 to tango, my friends. And
threw in a little extra phrasing there. 2 to tango, and let's share the road.
That one's older than my father.
It takes 2 to tango.
I understand.
So that's
tango,
all.
very popular dance of choice.
When you're riding your bike to work this
Dancing
morning.
with the stars on the red dot at home or what? Like, what's going on here?
Just yell that at motorists. It takes 2 to tango.
I got it. Takes 2 to tango.
Man, cyclists have never been better in this city with you on their side,
well,
Kirby.
somebody needs to defend them because I'm telling you, they're the little man. Like they are like.
Has anybody asked the cyclist if they need you as an advocate? That's the question.
That's going to be a headline. Hey, in other news, cyclists have turned down Shalinda Kirby's request to be their advocate.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Some text message action on the Boston Pizza text line pertaining to a bone phone call about pedestrians. And then Kirby indicated that in school she learned that you put your arm up when crossing the road so
Out.
that out.
Yes.
So
like
that
straight out, like you are just like making yourself like known.
known. Yeah. So I had never heard of that. We did not learn that in the schools I went to. And I don't believe my kids have learned it. But then somebody on the text line says arm up because you're small and people can't see you in their big trucks if they're driving trucks. So
Right.
this person says up.
Okay.
Kirby learned out.
Well, of course Kirby did.
Somebody else said I'm doing the YMCA.
Yes, I
Crossing
do.
the street.
I do remember seeing a couple of seniors though doing that once in a while, but they did it at the crosswalk. They'd put their arm out straight as if they were walking. I don't think you can just pop out of somewhere and go. And then, of course, when
High
you're
five.
writing up the report with MPI, you can say, I don't know, this woman on the radio said all I had to do was pull my arm out and I started walking. I didn't know there was cars
I think
coming.
it helps.
It's like
I
a
think
manual crosswalk.
Yeah,
It's-
that's right,
yeah,
Emmanuel.
yeah.
The whole city could be taking down these lights and stop painting the road for crosswalks. Just stick your arm out.
Someone says go gadget arms.
Oh,
Then you're not going to
boy.
miss that. The arm goes way up with a go
See?
gadget arm.
Somebody here, Jeff on the Boston Pizza text line. Pause, point, and proceed. So there was a pamphlet that went out, obviously, when Kirby went out.
I took it very seriously.
No, but I think that's what Jeff's talking about here, Kirby. It was probably what you learned back then, because they usually give you the 3 words to try and remember. It's like the one. It's like the one if you're having a stroke. I still can't remember the acronym.
Oh, it's on the back of the ambulances. Yes,
yes.
I know. It's like, you know.
Or stranger danger. If you have
Yes.
a catchphrase, right?
Yeah.
That's
It
like
helps you
Easier to remember.
Yes.
when the police officer comes to your school and it's like
Yes.
Stop,
stranger danger.
drop, and roll.
Yeah.
well, that was the fire department. But if you're on if you're on fire, stop, drop, and roll.
Thank you to Hot Dog Guy. Stroke is fast, so thank you very
Or
much.
face.
Or face.
Face, yes.
Is it face?
Yeah,
I don't know.
face.
What happens to your face? What? Because
Yeah.
I think it stands for.
It stands for something, but that's not
Yes.
going to help me right now. That's what I mean. I got to pay more attention.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Let me tell you, hot dog guy, you put Joe's life in danger.
Almost killed me.
You gotta take an extra second before you send those text messages to the Boston Pizza text line.
I'm going to tell you right now, there are some nice people out here who gave me the acronym for stroke, because you see it on the back of buses, it's on the back of things, and I can never remember it. And that's one of those things that stick in your head, especially when we're talking about, things to remember. Mm-hmm. Well, if I had happened to have some bad feelings, and you don't wish a stroke on anybody, of course.
Serious business.
And I'm sitting there going, well, wait a second here. I remember the hot dog guy told me one day on the Boston Pizza text line, he goes, it's face. And I'm going, face? Hold on. Face, arms, chest. The C must stand for chest. What the hell does the E stand for? Ears? And I'm going, wait a second.
You're lying on the floor. You and Christy are trying to figure out face.
I'll tell you right now, Christy's not trying to figure out anything. I know I'm worth more dead with those life insurance policies than I am alive. So don't worry about that. But it's fast.
It's fast.
I want everybody else that didn't know it like I
Yes.
did to know it's fast. It's face, arm, speech, and time. And I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't have had time if I went with face over fast.
And Kirby corrected, like she went with
Oh, yeah,
his.
she went with hot dog guy.
It's face.
So I'm going to
Well,
thank...
I'm not the person you want to
Well,
be there.
apparently not. You
in an
jumped on something you didn't even know the answer to with
I
conviction.
still would have probably assessed you.
Yeah, by putting your
Assessed.
arm out or something and waiting for something to
Now
happen.
you're a triage
Assessed.
nurse. She's going to
Oh,
assess
yeah.
you.
That's what I need.
Well,
Kirby,
that's what you learn in first aid.
do you know how to work the defib? Honestly, it's down the hall, the
You know,
defibrillator.
I
'Cause
don't have my up-to-date first aid, but I do know
Oh.
how to work one of those.
You
things.
do? 'Cause
Yes.
You work with 2 men on the wrong side of 50 here. So it's
I
good that
am
you've-
aware,
you gotta
okay?
sort that
I'm not
out.
worried about you. You skate a couple times a week with your kids and that kind of stuff. I leave my house. I get into a vehicle. I come to work. I go somewhere else in a vehicle. I go home in a vehicle, and I don't feel like walking my dog every day because he stops every 2 feet to sniff
Okay,
something
Joe,
out.
I got you.
She'll assess
You
you.
are
don't.
in safe hands.
You had me faced, not fast.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
PJK Extra, Philly, Joe, and Kirby. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for doing the podcast. We like, we're very proud of the podcast.
Yeah, it's doing really well. Apparently, what our administrators are telling us with the growth of the numbers.
Do you talk to the administrators a lot
they
about the
don't-
growth of the numbers?
They don't really talk, but you know how on every one of you don't at all. But every email you get from the top brass, they always say, and there's a link now, right? They all do it.
Yeah.
Hey, if you have any questions or you want to drop us a line with a suggestion, please do. They really don't want you to,
No,
but I like to.
Can I? Yes, and I'm going to say this. So peel back the curtain. Let's do. We like playing this game with PJK in this room. So Joe, you read like all of these emails from corporate, and because in any company you get the State of the Union emails, and there's one from the big boss that comes out. Is it weekly?
Friday.
So
Yep.
Joe will update me and on everything that's in there. And I love that because Kirby, I don't know about you, but I don't read that. And I should read that.
I barely read the emails that come from our actual boss.
Yeah.
Iron Mike's emails go unread by you.
We know that. He knows that.
Yeah.
But I go to the top brass emails and I read those
You're
because
plugged in,
they're
man.
important. But do I respond when they say, hey, if you have any questions? No way. Stay under the radar. There's the free advice.
You don't respond.
No. Hey, I'll give you another piece of advice. If you get invited if you're working in a corporate type of office, right? And you get invited to be part of these calls, like Teams meetings and Zoom calls, and it tells you right in the top of the email, accept, right, tentative, or no. You never say no.
Yeah.
Okay? If
I
you,
just don't. I don't do anything.
Oh yeah, no,
That's a
you
good
have
plan.
to.
Good
You
plan
have to
for your
answer.
future.
No,
Yeah.
it's not good. You have to answer.
I put tentative a lot. Because I'm
but,
busy.
But here's the deal.
So
yeah, they know that. They know you're busy. But if you put accept and you can't make it, it's because you got busy. If you put tentative, you're wavering.
Hey, you know what? That's why you listen to PJK Extra. Corporate advice from Joe Aiello.
I got it from some top brass people I know in other businesses. And sometimes company people will look at that and go, hey, who's dialed in here? Mm-hmm. And if you put accept, they know the list. Doesn't mean they're paying attention when they're actually doing their project.
Do you guys remember at the last company we were at where I joined a meeting that I wasn't supposed to be in by accident?
Well,
Yeah.
that's the best part.
That was a
is
sales
You
meeting,
normally
yeah.
hate attending the meetings you have to attend,
better.
and this one you just went in on.
I canceled one, if you remember, too, on the calendar, company-wide.
Whole company across the country.
Well, that's
across the
on
country.
them. They should be
No, that
making
was on
sure
Joe.
that you
No,
can't.
that was on
I
Joe.
know, but they should be making sure that just a regular
Yes.
employee can't cancel a whole all-staff
But
meeting.
Joe was a manager at
I
that
was a
point.
manager.
So he went in
Oh,
and
that's right.
accidentally
I'll
canceled
tell
it.
you what, I heard from a lot of people across this country that were happy the meeting was canceled.
So there you go. PJK Extra.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Has the boss seen your latest action on LinkedIn?
I didn't want to talk about this, but
Like when we started calling you the king of LinkedIn, because you get job offers in the oil industry.
a lot of contacts can be made through LinkedIn, by the way,
Well,
business-wise.
we didn't know that until you.
You're the poster boy for contacts on LinkedIn.
Kirby's the one from Alberta, and I've had probably about 12, 13 solid offers to move into the oil field in Alberta. And I don't know where this information has come up on LinkedIn that I have any knowledge outside of pumping gas into my own vehicle. I don't even know how to change my own oil. Never mind the oil industry.
No, you don't just limit to Alberta. You've had global
Yeah.
positions.
That is true. You've had
offered.
international job offers.
Yep.
Like we honestly, Phil, don't realize how lucky we are to have this guy in this room.
I get it.
Like
I
you
understand.
are being pursued.
I love this town. That's why I've never moved. It's not that these credible job offers that really fit my skill set.
If it wasn't for how much you love this town, you'd be working on an oil rig in
I
Alberta.
tell you right now,
White hard hat.
I have I still haven't been able to cross hard labor off of my bucket list of things to do.
Oh my God.
But
this
this latest one,
It's a classic.
like we joke a lot, but this is where it goes from funny to legitimate concern. You sent us this yesterday, and the boss needs to see it. You should march into his office after this, because I'm telling you, my friend, this is called, you are in a position of power now once he sees this latest offer on LinkedIn.
Okay. There's a couple of things that came in on this. I got this notification, and they send you the email, right, from LinkedIn on top job picks for you. Top job picks for you.
All right.
Accommodation facilitator from Manitoba Hydro. I don't even know what that means. I couldn't even tell you what an accommodation facilitator does, but it sounds like a hell of a job.
You could facilitate anything, Joe.
I think it's when, say, hydro guys go out of town to work, you would
And I'm
set them
booking.
up in the hotel.
I'm booking them their camp or whatever, their hotel.
Oh, they would be staying in high-end places.
I'll tell you right now, I'm going right to hotels.com and seeing what's available in Swan Lake. This one really fits me too, and this is in Vancouver, by the way. Data entry, clerical work from home. Oh yeah,
You would
home.
have to.
You can't afford to live in Vancouver on this job, could you?
You would need tech support.
Yeah, data entry, clerical, and then
This is the big one. Is this
Yeah.
the one?
This is it.
This is the one where
this is an opportunity to
I-
work in the radio business.
Right. This is all the oil industry, the hydro stuff aside, because I don't think you're leaving for those kinds of positions. But when you start getting radio offers in town on LinkedIn, that's where I lose sleep.
Yeah.
Yep. Got offered a radio situation here to look into, but I'll tell you right now, it says I'm a high experience match for that data entry clerical work from home position in Vancouver. It's kind of tempting.
I like the hydro one because you know a lot about hotels. You like to travel.
Yeah, the ones in Vegas. Where else do I go?
Don't go anywhere, okay? Serious. Like your LinkedIn is sizzling. Can you just we like having you in this room.
Can you
Thanks.
stay here, please? I know the oil field in Alberta is
Yeah.
tempting. Okay, I've seen it firsthand.
Oh,
the money
no.
that can be made out there.
I'll tell you, I've always wanted to wear a hard hat and work hard for a living.
Delete your LinkedIn. Enough of this.
You know what?
okay?
I think I might have to.
Just making me uneasy.
I'm sorry.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Start with you, Curbs, as we always do. Would you rather every third thought you have be out loud or never be alone, no matter what you are doing?
I would say basically my life is every third thought out
I
loud.
don't think it's every third. I think it's most of your thoughts are out loud. Welcome to our lives, Joe and
Well, I have a hard time containing things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the other choice?
never be alone no matter what you were doing. So somebody's in the room at every moment, I guess.
Oh, I need my alone time. I'll just share my thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. I don't mind the alone thing once in a while. Mm-hmm. So I think I would go that way. But I think as I'm getting older, I share my thoughts more.
So
A
you
little
would,
bit more courageous.
So you would say you'd never be alone no matter what you were doing? You're
No,
picking that way, you're
no,
picking the other
I have
one.
to pick the thoughts. Because I think as I get older, I speak my mind more freely.
Okay. Yeah, I would say so. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Would you rather, Kirby, have the ability to mute people at will? So in the middle of a conversation, psh,
I'm
I
sure
don't want
that's
it.
how you wish you could.
Never.
Mute me.
I would never say that, Kirby.
This isn't therapy, Kirby, okay? You're supposed to just answer one of the two questions.
Sure.
Okay,
Because
continue.
now you got to start over.
Yeah.
Okay, reset.
Would you rather have the ability to mute people at will or pause people for 5 seconds at will? So you're either muting them, I don't want to hear you anymore, or you're pausing a conversation.
Does it also, like, it pauses their movement as well?
Yeah, everything pauses. So
Like, they freeze.
for example, someone's giving you information. Okay, I need you to be here at this time. Pause so I can write that down. Okay, go on, continue.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like more my jam.
I think I'd remember more if I could
Me
pause
too.
someone. Yeah.
You could take a little, like, note.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty
would
good.
choose that one. Yeah.
Joe?
Yeah, I
or
think I'm
pause?
gonna hit pause. I take a little bit longer to write out my notes nowadays. Plus, mute's already a feature on things like Facebook and Instagram and such. So I don't think I would need any more muting if as a tool.
Okay.
So I go with pausing.
I thought you'd go mute. I really did. I would have.
Not that harsh of a guy.
No.
You know?
that would be harsh to mute someone.
Yeah.
In the middle. I'm done.
Hold on a sec. I got one button to hit. There it is.
Would they know they're being muted?
See, now, that's a redirect.
I would
Kirby.
think so.
Yeah, I think because now you're not. Or
Or would they just be like, continue on, you know? You would be the one in charge of the muting.
do you know when someone's not listening to you?
I always know when you're not listening. Yes.
Then
Yeah.
maybe they would.
By you,
very
did you mean
obvious.
you?
I don't know. Maybe we should move on.
Yeah.
Would you rather be trapped in the woods with Mike O'Shea or Chris Strevler, Kirby?
Oh, Chris Strevler, man.
So you need survival.
Yeah.
Got to get out of these. It's
Like as a beast.
It's like Blair Witch Project or something what Bear Grylls would do. You get dropped in the woods.
I mean, dude looked like bear. Looked like a bear wearing
Yeah.
the fur jacket.
That's interesting.
Unfortunate injury for Strevler, but let's assume.
Yeah, I mean,
let's assume he's
obviously,
healthy.
yeah, I'd like to think he's going to be healthy in this scenario.
I'll tell you right now, I'm going with Coach O'Shea.
So would I.
Born leader, was an intense linebacker when he played. He could tackle a bear. I'm not worried about that. Okay? He's also got a family. He'd know how to cook and everything else and support if something happened. Strevler, what kind of party you having in the jungle?
Yeah.
Like, he'd be great to party with, but I don't know if I could trust him enough to lead us on the way out there. I'm going with the coach. He's a leader.
I agree with that. And very, well thought out. He doesn't panic.
Yes.
You can tell he'd be calm. He'd get you out of there for sure.
I'll tell you right now, he'd probably smack me at some point after you ask him a couple of questions because he doesn't like answered questions.
Calm down,
Especially if
Aiello.
it's about him.
Finally, would you rather, Kirby, have a brain implant that enhances your memory and cognitive abilities, or a full body exoskeleton that enhances your strength and endurance? So exoskeleton, that's like a shell of armor of some, in some way, shape, or form.
So more for like physical stuff.
Yeah, like
I want the brain power. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my memory is not great.
you want to be like Joe when it comes to remembering
Yes,
names.
yes, that would be a great skill to have. So
Definitely.
yeah, I'm gonna take the brain power over the body.
The exoskeleton.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so too. I think as I get older, I probably losing a couple of brain cells here and there over the years of this job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, when you have this body already from all the working out already, it can't get any better.
You don't want endurance?
The only reason I'm saying that is if I told you, because Kirby was joking yesterday, I was going to throw out my free weights on curbside giveaway
That's
this
right.
weekend. I had about
bench.
12 different people I know asking if they could pick up the free weights at my house if I was giving away. I said, it's a joke. Kirby was joking. I don't work out. I said, how
least
well
you
do you know
know.
me?
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
I want to play this call because early next week we're road tripping, PJK road trip. This is our first out of town adventure together.
Hitting the open road.
Yep. Joe, thanks for doing the driving. We're going to the
Love it.
Red Barn Restaurant in Moosomin, Saskatchewan.
I can't believe all the times heading out west. I've never tried it out. Kirby, you've driven out west.
I went right through Moosomin. I didn't even
have.
think of stopping. I mean, Phil had a family there.
Never been to Red Barn.
I used to stop at the Dairy Queen all the time, and then somebody said, you guys got to check out the Red Barn. Well, guess what happened? It became organic. It almost went locally viral. Is that something that can happen?
Absolutely.
Anyway, a lot of people are talking about going to the Red Barn, so we're going.
Can't wait. And we've got this call. It was in the bone phone, but I wanted to play it here.
Hey guys, I'm just wondering if you guys are really heading out to Moosomin to check out the Red Barn. I live in Winnipeg. My name's Kim, but my cousin, my family owns the Red Barn, so you should get in touch with me. I told him I heard that you guys were going there, but he doesn't know anything, so give me a shout.
So this raises a couple of
Wow.
questions. I don't necessarily know if I want ownership knowing we're coming there, because then what if they roll out the red carpet? I want to go in there like regular customers. I don't want.
I
them
want
to-
the red carpet.
I don't.
No, I don't want any of that. I just want to go in and be me.
Yeah.
I want prime
Yeah,
seating.
well, I know that. This is something that's
Roped off area.
Why can't this just be easy?
Because it's me.
I know. Oh,
So do we? But do we let them know the day and time? And that might not be a terrible idea, just to make sure, because the owner might then he'll make sure he's at the restaurant that day.
Yeah, we want to meet the owner.
Yeah, so we'll get a hold of him because Kim. Thank you for the call, by the way.
That's awesome.
She left a phone number to get a hold of her, so maybe she can set us up.
Whatever you guys want to do. I just want to go to the Red Barn.
Well, we're doing that.
No, I get it. Maybe I'll just sit by myself.
Can you look for some connections with the aquatic park there in Moosomin? Because we're thinking
There's
about
no time
going
for the
a swim.
aquatic park. I told you, after I eat what I'm going to eat at the Red Barn, I'm going to have to wait at least 2 hours before I can go swimming.
Can only make the whole day a lot longer.
Yeah, so we're going to talk to the owners?
Yeah, I think so. Let them know when we're coming, what time we'll be there. That's great. And, maybe we can get the chef on the phone to ask a few questions about...
Oh, the chef. I have a few questions for the chef.
Oh, and actually forget it. No,
you know what? Why don't you spend the rest of the week booking a parade for us while we're there?
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
What do you guys know about guinea pigs for a pet or a hamster?
They stink.
You think every animal stinks?
No, but hamsters smell. They have a certain smell to them, and it irritates my nose.
My youngest son,
he wants a hamster.
He's created a Christmas list already, and
oh boy,
among all the expensive electronics on there was I want to say it's a guinea pig. One of his friends had one, or has one, and my wife's like, I've never seen her do this this fast. Absolutely not. So
because you got to clean, like Joe said, you got to clean the cage. My brother had
both of them.
He had a hamster named Ramrod, and this thing
Ramrod.
This thing had the biggest balls. I'm sorry, but it was a small hamster, and clearly was a little boy because man, that was half of his body weight was that. I hated holding him. Because I'm like, ew.
What a lucky, blessed. That's a blessed hamster.
Great story.
That's touching. That's a touching story.
Doing a lot.
So that's what I know about hamsters. And that if you don't clean their cage, they stink. Because he stayed with me once with that hamster. And I was like, God, you can't even leave it for a day.
Okay, so why did you give me heck when I said...
Because you don't like ferrets either. You think they stink.
Well, they do. Because those kind of rodents, their cages and everything just have a certain smell. And guinea pigs. But here's the thing. Anybody I know that's had one of those animals, they don't last very long in most cases for some reason.
Short lifespan.
Short lifespan, or they go missing because it's easy for a ferret or anything that size to leave the house, and then you know what happens? Then it's drama and trauma because
friends of ours.
Yes,
it's funny. Friends of ours had theirs go missing. They could hear it crawling around in the walls, but they could never find it.
Yeah. In the walls. That's a good, now it's become a horror flick. It's wow.
For more Philly Joe and Kirby, log it into 92.1 City weekday mornings 6 to 10.